So prepare yourself for a play that was written more than 400 years ago, but that speaks to the world's problems today. On stage, as we begin, is Antonio, racked with grief.
In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me. You say it wearies you, but how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff it is made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn. And such a want-wit sadness makes of me, that I have much ado to know myself.
Your mind is tossing on the ocean. There where your argosies with portly sail, like signors and rich burghers on the flood, do overpeer the petty traffickers, which curtsy to them, do them reverence as they fly by them with their woven wings.
Believe me, sir, had I such venture forth, the better part of my affections would be with my hopes abroad. I should be still plucking the grass to know where sits the wind, peering in maps for ports and piers and roads, and every object that might make me fear misfortune to my ventures, out of doubt would make me sad.
My wind cooling my broth would blow me to an ague when I thought what harm a wind too great might do at sea. I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows and of flats and see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand, veiling her high top lower than her ribs to kiss her burial should I go to church. And see the holy edifice of stone, and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks, which, touching but my gentle vessel's side, would scatter all her spices on the stream, enrobe the roaring waters with my silks, and in a word, but even now worth this, and now worth nothing? Shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing perchance would make me sad? But tell not me. I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise.
Believe me, no. I thank my fortune for it. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted, nor to one place, nor is my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. Therefore, my merchandise makes me not sad.
Why? Then you are in love.
Fie.
Not in love, neither. Then let us say you are sad because you are not merry. And 'twere as easy for you to laugh and leap and say you are merry because you are not sad. Here comes Bassanio, your most noble kinsman, Gratiano and Lorenzo. Fare you well. We leave you now with better company.
I would have stayed till I had made you merry if worthier friends had not prevented me.
Oh, your worth's very dear in my regard. I take it your own business calls on you, and you embrace the occasion to depart.
Good morrow. My good lord!
Signors, both! When shall we laugh? Huh? Say, when? You grow exceeding strange. Must it be so?
We'll make our leisures to attend on yours.
My lord Bassanio, since you've found Antonio, we too will leave you. But at dinner time, I pray you have in mind where we must meet.
I will not fail you.
You look not well, Signor Antonio. You have too much respect upon the world. They lose it that do buy you with much care. Believe me, you are marvelously changed.
I hold the world, but as the world, Gratiano. A stage where every man must play a part, and mine a sad one.
Let me play the fool. With mirth and laughter, let old wrinkles come, and let my liver rather heat with wine than my heart cool with mortifying groans. Why should a man whose blood is warm within sit like his grandsire, cut in alabaster? I'm sorry. I'll tell you what, Antonio. I love thee, and it is my love that speaks. There are a sort of men whose visages do cream and mantle like a standing pond, and do a wilful stillness entertain with purpose to be dressed in an opinion of wisdom, gravity, profound conceit, as who should say, I am Sir Oracle, and when I open my lips, let no dog bark. Oh, my Antonio, I do know of these, that therefore only are reputed wise for saying nothing. I'll tell thee more of this another time, but fish not with this melancholy bait, for this fool gudgeon, this opinion. Come, good Lorenzo, fare ye well a while? I'll end my exhortation after dinner.
But we will leave you then till dinner time. I must be one of these same dumb wise men, for Gratiano never lets me speak.
Well, keep me company but 2 years more, thou shalt not know the sound of thine own tongue.
Fare you well. I'll grow a talker for this gear.
Thanks, Ife, for silence is only commendable in a neat's tongue dried and a maid not vendable.
Is that anything now?
Gratiano speaks an infinite deal of nothing, more than any man in all Venice. His reasons are 2 grains of wheat hid in 2 bushels of chaff. You shall seek all day ere you find them, and when you have them, they are not worth the search.
Well, tell me now. What lady is the same to whom you swore a secret pilgrimage that you today promised to tell me of?
'Tis not unknown to you, Antonio, how much I have disabled mine estate by something showing a more swelling port than my faint means would grant continuance. And nor do I now make moan to be abridged from such a noble rate, but my chief care is to come fairly off from the great debts, wherein my time, something too prodigal, hath left me gauged. To you, Antonio, I owe the most in money. And in love, and from your love, I have a warranty to unburden all my plots and purposes, how to get clear of all the debts I owe.
I pray you, good Bassanio, let me know it. And if it stand, as you yourself still do, within the eye of honour, be assured, my purse, my person, my extremest means lie all unlocked to your occasions.
In my school days, when I had lost 1 shaft, I shot his fellow of the selfsame flight, the selfsame way, with more advised watch to find the other forth, and by adventuring both, I oft found both. I urge this childhood proof, because what follows is pure innocence. I owe you much. And, like a wilful youth, that which I owe is lost. But if you please to shoot another arrow the self way which you did shoot the first, I do not doubt, as I will watch the aim, or to find both. Or bring your latter hazard back again, and thankfully rest debtor for the first.
You know me well, and herein spend but time to wind about my love with circumstance, and out of doubt you do me now more wrong in making question of my uttermost than if you had made waste of all I have. Then do but say to me what I should do, that in your knowledge may by me be done, and I am pressed unto it. Therefore speak.
In Belmont is a lady, richly left, and she is fair, and fairer than that word, of wondrous virtues. Sometimes from her eyes I did receive fair speechless messages. Her name is Portia, nothing undervalued to Cato's daughter, Brutus Portia, nor is the wide world ignorant of her worth, for the 4 winds blow in from every coast renowned suitors, and many Jasons come in quest of her. Oh, my Antonio, had I but the means to hold a rival place with one of them, I have a mind presages me such thrift that I should questionless be fortunate.
Thou knowest that all my fortunes are at sea. Neither have I money nor commodity to raise a present sum. Therefore go forth. Try what my credit can in Venice do, that shall be racked even to the uttermost, to furnish thee to Belmont, to fair Portia. Go! Presently inquire, and so will I, where money is, and I no question make to have it of my trust, or for my sake.
By my troth, Nerissa, my little body is aweary of this great world.
You would be, sweet madam, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are, and yet, for aught I see, they are as sick that surfeit with too much as they that starve with nothing.
Good sentences and well pronounced.
They would be better if well followed.
If to do were as easy as to know what were good to do. Chapels had been churches, and poor men's cottages princes' palaces. It is a good divine that follows his own instructions. I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than be one of the 20 to follow mine own teaching. The brain may devise laws for the blood, but a hot temper leaps o'er a cold decree. But this reason is not in fashion to choose me a husband. Oh me, the word choose. I may neither choose whom I would, nor refuse whom I dislike. So is the will of a living daughter curbed by the will of a dead father. Is it not hard, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one, nor refuse none?
Your father was ever virtuous, and holy men at their death have good inspirations. Therefore, the lottery that he hath devised in these 3 chests of gold, silver, and lead, whereof who chooses his meaning chooses you, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly, but one who you shall rightly love.
Yeah.
But what warmth is there in your affection toward any of these princely suitors that are already come?
I pray thee, overname them. And as thou namest them, I will describe them, and according to my description, level at my affection.
First, there is the Neapolitan prince.
He doth nothing but talk of his horse. I am much afraid my lady his mother played false with a smith.
Then is there the county palatine.
I had rather to be married to a death's head with a bone in his mouth.
How say you by the French lord, Monsieur Le Bon?
God made him, and therefore let him pass for a man.
How like you the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew?
Very vilely in the morning when he is sober, and most vilely in the afternoon when he is drunk. Therefore, for fear of the worst, I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. For if the devil be within and that temptation without, I know he will choose it. I will do anything, Nerissa. I will be married to a sponge.
You need not fear, lady, the having of any of these lords. They have acquainted me with their determinations, which is indeed to return to their home and to trouble you with no more suit, unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's imposition, depending on the casket.
If I live to be as old as Sibylla, I will die as chaste as Diana, unless I be obtained by the manner of my father's will. I am glad this parcel of wooers are so reasonable, for there is not one among them but I dote on his very absence, and I wish them a fair departure.
Do you not remember, lady, in your father's time, a Venetian, a scholar and a soldier, that came hither in the company of the Marquis of Montferrat?
Yes, it was Bassanio, as I think, so was he called.
Oh, he, of all the men that ever my foolish eyes looked upon, was the best deserving a fair lady.
I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of thy praise.
The 4 strangers seek you, madam, to take their leave. And there is a forerunner come from a 5th, the Prince of Morocco, who brings word the prince, his master, will be here tonight.
If I could bid the 5th welcome with so good heart as I can bid the other 4 farewell, I should be glad of his approach. Come, Nerissa, go before. Whilst we shut the gate upon one wooer, another knocks at the door.
3,000 ducats. Well,
Aye, sir, for 3 months.
for 3 months. Well,
For the which, as I told you, Antonio shall be bound.
Antonio shall become bound. Well,
May you stead me. Will you pleasure me? Shall I know your answer?
3,000 ducats for 3 months and Antonio bound.
Your answer to that?
Antonio is a good man, huh?
Have you heard any imputation to the contrary?
Oh, no. My meaning in saying he is a good man is to have you understand me that he is sufficient. Yet his means are in supposition.
True.
He hath an argosy bound to Tripoli, another to the Indies. I understand, moreover, upon the Rialto, he had the third at Mexico, a fourth for England, and other ventures he had squandered abroad. But ships are but boats, sailors but men. There be land rats and water thieves and land thieves, I mean pirates. And then there is the peril of waters, winds, and rocks. The man is notwithstanding sufficient. 3,000 ducats, I think I may take his bond.
Be assured, you may.
I will be assured I may, and that I may be assured. And I will bethink me. May I speak with Antonio?
If it please you, dine with us?
Yes, to smell pork. I'll buy with you, sell with you, talk with you, walk with you, and so following. But I will not eat with you, drink with you, nor pray with you.
No.
What news on the Rialto is he comes here?
Signor Antonio.
How like a fawning publican he looks. I hate him. For that in low simplicity, he lends out money gratis and brings down the rate of usance here with us in Venice. He hates our sacred nation. And he rails even there, where merchants most do congregate on me, my bargains, and my well-won thrift, which he calls interest.
Shylock, do you hear?
I'm debating off my present store, and by the near guess of my memory, I cannot instantly raise up the gross of full 3,000 ducats. What of that, Tubal? A wealthy Hebrew of my tribe will furnish me, but soft, how many months do you desire? Rest you fair, good signor. Your worship was the last man in our mouths.
Shylock, albeit I neither lend nor borrow by taking nor by giving of excess, yet to supply the ripe wants of my friend, I'll break a custom. Is he yet possessed how much he would?
Aye, 3,000 ducats.
And for 3 months?
I had forgot 3 months, you told me so. Well then, your bond, and let me see. But hear you, methought you said you neither lend nor borrow upon advantage.
I do never use it.
When Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's sheep, this Jacob from our holy Abram was...
And what of him? Did he take interest?
No, not take interest, not as you would say, directly interest. Mark what Jacob did. When Laban and himself were compromised that all the new lambs which were streaked and piked should fall as Jacob's hire, the ewes being rank in end of autumn turned it to the rams. And when the work of generation was between these woolly breeders in the rank, the skillful shepherd peeled him certain shoots and stuck them up before the lusty ewes, who then conceiving did in evening time fall parti-colored lambs, and those were Jacob's. This was a way to thrive, and he was blessed. And thrift is blessing, if men steal it not.
Was this inserted to make interest good? Or is your gold and silver ewes and rams?
I cannot tell. I make it breed as fast.
Mark you this, Bassanio.
Signor.
Mark you this. The devil can cite scripture for his purpose. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek. A goodly apple rotten at the heart. Oh, what a goodly outside falsehood hath.
3,000 ducats. 'Tis a good round sum. 3 months from 12, then let me see the rate.
Well, Shylock, shall we be beholding to you?
Signor Antonio, many a time and oft in the Rialto, you have rated me about my monies and my usances. Still have I borne it with a patient shrug, for sufferance is the badge of all our tribe. You call me misbeliever, cutthroat dog, and spit upon my Jewish gabardine, and all for use of that which is mine own. Well then, it now appears you need my help. Go to then. You come to me and you say, Shylock, we would have monies. You say so. You that did void your room upon my beard and foot me as you spurn a stranger cur over your threshold. Monies is your suit. What should I say to you? Should I not say, hath a dog monies? Is it possible a cur should lend 3,000 ducats? Or shall I bend low and in a beggar's key with bated breath and whispering humbleness say this? First, sir, you spat on me on Wednesday last. You spurred me such a day. Another time you called me dog. And for these courtesies, I lend you thus much monies.
I'm as like to call thee so again. To spit on thee again? To spurn thee too? If thou wilt lend this money, lend it not as to thy friends. For when did friendship take a breed of barren metal of his friend, but lend it rather to thine enemy? Who, if he break, thou mayest with better face exact the penalties! Ah!
Why? Look you how you storm. I would be friends with you and have your love. Forget the shames that you have stained me with. Supply your present wants and take no piece of interest of my monies, and you will not hear me. This is kind I offer.
This were kindness.
This kindness will I show. Go with me to a notary, seal me there your single bond, and in a merry sport, if you repay me not on such a day, in such a place, such sum of sums as are expressed in the condition, let the forfeit be nominated for an equal pound of your fair flesh to be cut off and taken in what part of your body it pleaseth me.
Contented faith, I'll seal to such a bond, and say there is much kindness in the Jew.
You shall not seal to such a bond for me. I'll rather dwell in my necessity.
Why, fear not, man, I will not forfeit it. Within these 2 months, that's a month before this bond expires, I do expect return of thrice 3 times the value of this bond.
Oh, Father Abraham, what these Christians are, whose own hard dealings teaches them suspect the thoughts of others. Pray you, tell me this. If he should break his day, what should I gain by the exaction of the forfeiture? 8 pounds of man's flesh taken from a man is not so estimable, profitable neither, as flesh of muttons, beefs, or goats. I say, to buy his favor, I extend this friendship. If he will take it, so. If not, adieu. And for my love, I pray you wrong me not.
Yes, Shylock, I will seal unto this bond.
Then meet me forthwith at the notary's. Give him directions for this merry bond, and I will go and purse the ducat straight.
Hie thee, gentle Jew. This Hebrew will turn Christian. He grows kind.
I like not fair terms and a villain's mind.
Oh, come on! In this there can be no dismay. My ships come home a month before the day.
Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowed livery of the burnished sun to whom I am a neighbour and near bred. Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus' fire scarce thaws the icicles, and let us make incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant. By my love, I swear, the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. I would not change this hue, except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen.
In terms of choice, I am not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eyes. But if my father had not scanted me and hedged me by his wit to yield myself his wife who wins me by that means I told you, yourself, renowned prince, then stood as fair as any comer I have looked on yet for my affection.
Even for that, I thank you. Therefore, I pray you, lead me to the caskets to try my fortune.
You must take your chance, and either not attempt to choose at all, or swear, before you choose, if you choose wrong, never to speak to lady afterward in way of marriage. Therefore, be advised.
Nor will not. Come, bring me unto my chance.
After dinner, your hazard shall be made.
Good fortune, then, to make me blessed, or cursedst among men.
Oh, come on. Safe. Certainly my conscience will serve me to run from this Jew, my master. The fiend is at mine elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Gobbo, Lancelot, Gobbo, good Lancelot, or good Gobbo, or good Lancelot, Gobbo. Use your legs, take the start, run away. My conscience says, no, take heed, honest Lancelot, take heed, honest Gobbo, or as aforesaid, honest Lancelot. Gobbo, do not run. Scorn running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me pack. Fire, says the fiend. Away, says the fiend. For the heavens rouse up a brave mind, says the fiend. And run. Well, my conscience hanging about the neck of my heart says very wisely to me, my honest friend Lancelot, being an honest man's son, or rather an honest woman's son. For indeed, my father did something smack, something grow too. He had a kind of taste. Well, my conscience says, Lancelot, budge not. Budge, says the fiend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, say aye. You counsel well. Fiend, say aye. You counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, I should stay with the Jew, my master, who, God bless the mark, is a kind of devil. And to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by the fiend, who, saving your reverence, is the devil himself. Certainly the Jew is the very devil incarnate. And in my conscience is a kind of hard conscience to offer to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The fiend gives a more friendly counsel. I will run, fiend. My heels are at your commandment. I will run. Ah, rare fortune. Here comes Master Bassanio, who indeed gives rare new liveries. If I serve not him, I will run as far as God has any ground to him. For I am a Jew, if I serve the Jew any longer.
You may do so, but let it be so hasty that supper be ready at the farthest by 5 o'clock, and see those letters delivered.
God bless your worship.
Gramercy, wouldst thou walk with me?
I have a great infection, sir. As one would say, to serve, indeed.
What would you?
Serve you, sir. That is the very defect of the matter, sir.
Thou hast obtained thy suit. Go, take leave of thy old master, and inquire my lodging out. Give him a livery more tricked out than his fellows. See it done. And good Leonardo, think on this.
Well, if fortune be a woman, she's a good wench for this gear.
These things being bought,
Take my leave of the Jew in a twinkling.
orderly bestowed, return in haste, for I do feast tonight my best esteemed acquaintance. Hie thee, go.
My best endeavours shall be done herein.
Where's your master?
Yonder, sir.
Signor Bassanio!
Gratiano,
I have a suit to you.
you have obtained it.
You must not deny me. I must go with you to Belmont.
Why then you must. But hear thee, Gratiano. Thou art too wild, too rude, and bold of voice. Parts that become thee happily enough, and, in such eyes as ours, appear not false, but, where they are not known, why there they show something too liberal. pray you, take pain to allay with some cold drops of modesty thy skipping spirit, lest through thy wild behaviour I be misconstrued in the place I go to and lose my hopes.
Signor Bassanio, hear me. If I do not put on a sober habit, talk with respect, and swear, but now and then, wear prayer books in my pocket, look demurely, nay, more, while Grace is saying, hood mine eyes thus with my hat, and sigh, and say, Amen. Use all the observance of civility like one well studied in a sad ostent to please his grandam, ne'er trust me more.
Well, we shall see your bearing.
Nay, but a bar tonight, you shall not gauge me by what we do tonight.
No, that were pity. No, I would entreat you rather to put on your boldest suit of mirth, for we have friends that purpose merriment. But fare you well, I have some business.
And I must to Lorenzo and the rest, but we will visit you at supper time.
I am sorry thou would leave my father so. Our house is hell, and thou, a merry devil, didst rob it of some taste of tediousness. But fare thee well, there is payment for thee. And Lancelot, soon at supper shalt thou see Lorenzo, who is thy new master's guest. Give him this letter. Do it secretly. And so, farewell. I would not have my father see me talk with thee.
Adieu. Tears exhibit my tongue. Most beautiful pagan. Most sweet Jew. Oh, if a Christian did not play the knave and get thee, I am much deceived, but a Jew. These foolish drops do somewhat drown my manly spirit. Adieu.
Farewell, good Lancelot. Alack, what heinous sin is it in me to be ashamed to be my father's child? But though I am a daughter to his blood, I am not to his manners. Ah, Lorenzo, if thou keep promise, I shall end this strife, become a Christian, and thy loving wife.
Nay, we will slink away at supper time, disguise us at my lodging, and return all in an hour.
We have not made good preparation.
We have not spoke us yet of torch-bearers.
'Tis vile unless it may be quaintly ordered, and better in my mind not undertook.
It's now but 4 o'clock. We have 2 hours to furnish us. Friend Lancelot, what's the news?
Ooh. And it shall please you to break up this, shall it seem to signify?
I know the hand. In faith, 'tis a fair hand, and whiter than the paper it writ on is the fair hand that writ.
Love news in faith.
By your leave, sir.
Whither goest thou?
Marry, sir, to bid my old master, the Jew, to sup tonight with my new master, the Christian.
Well, hold here. Take this. Tell gentle Jessica I will not fail her. Speak it privately. Go. Gentlemen, will you prepare you for this mask tonight? I'm provided of a torchbearer.
Aye, marry, I'll be gone about it straight.
So will I. Meet me and Gratiano at Gratiano's lodging some hour hence.
'Tis good we do so.
What's that letter from fair Jessica?
I must needs tell thee all. She hath directed how I shall take her from her father's house, what gold and jewels she is furnished with, what page's suit she hath in readiness. If e'er the Jew her father come to heaven, it'll be for his gentle daughter's sake. Come, go with me. Peruse this as thou goest. Fair Jessica shall be my torchbearer.
Well, thou shalt see, thy eyes shall be thy judge. The difference of old Shylock and Bassanio. What, Jessica, thou shalt not gormandize as thou hast done with me. What, Jessica, and sleep and snore and rend apparel out. Why, Jessica, I say...
Why, Jessica!
Who bids thee call? I do not bid thee call.
Your worship was wont to tell me I could do nothing without your bidding.
Call you? What is your will?
I'm bid forth to supper, Jessica. But wherefore should I go? I'm not bid for love, they flatter me. But yet I'll go in hate. Jessica, my girl, look to my house. I'm right loath to go.
I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your reproach.
So do I his.
And they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, it was not for nothing that my nose fell a-bleeding on Black Monday last at 6 o'clock in the morning.
What? Are there masks? Hear you me, Jessica. Lock up my doors. And when you hear the drum, clamber not you up to the casement to gaze on Christian fools with varnished faces. But stop my house's ears, I mean my casements. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. By Jacob's staff, I swear, I have no mind of feasting forth tonight. But I will go. Go you before me, Sirrah. Say I will come.
I will go before, sir. Mistress, look out at window for all this. There will come a Christian by, will be worth a Jew's eye.
What says that fool, huh?
His words were farewell, mistress, nothing else.
The patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder. Well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. Shut doors after you. Fast bind, fast bind. A proverb never stale in thrifty mind.
Farewell. And if my fortune be not crossed, I have a father, you a daughter lost.
House under which Lorenzo desired us to make a stand.
His hour is almost past.
And it is marvel he outdwells his hour, for lovers ever run before the clock.
Oh, sweet friends, your patience for my long abode. Not I, but my affairs have made you wait. When you shall please to play the thieves for wives, I'll watch as long for you then. Approach. Here dwells my father Jew.
Oh, who's within?
Who are you? Tell me, for more certainty, albeit I'll swear that I do know your tongue.
Lorenzo, and I love.
Lorenzo, certain, and my love indeed, for who love I so much? And now, who knows but you, Lorenzo, whether I am yours?
Heaven and thy thoughts are witness that thou art.
Here, catch this casket, it is worth the pains. I am glad 'tis night. You do not look on me, for I am much ashamed of my exchange. But love is blind, and lovers cannot see the pretty follies that themselves commit. For if they could, Cupid himself would blush to see me thus transform into a boy.
Descend, for you must be my torchbearer.
What? Must I hold a candle to my shames? They in themselves, good sooth, are too light. Why, 'tis an office of discovery, love, and I should be obscured.
So you are, sweet, even in the lovely garnish of a boy, but come at once, for the close night doth play the runaway, and we are stayed for at Bassanio's feast.
I will make fast the doors and gild myself with some more ducats and be with you straight.
Now by my hood, a gentle and no Jew!
Beshrew me, but I love her heartily. For she is wise, if I can judge of her, and fair she is, if that mine eyes be true. And true she is, as she hath proved herself. And therefore, like herself, wise, fair, and true, shall she be placed in my constant soul. What, art thou come? On, gentlemen! Away! Our masking mates by this time for us, stay!
Who's there?
Antonio?
Fie, Graciano! Where are all the rest? 'Tis 9 o'clock. Our friends all stay for you. No mask tonight. The wind is come about. Bassanio presently will go aboard. I have sent 20 out to seek for you.
I am glad on't. I desire no more delight than to be under sail and gone tonight.
Go, discover the several caskets to this noble prince.
This inscription bears, who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. And then the silver which this promise carries, who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. This third, dull lead with warning all as blunt, who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. How shall I know if I do choose the right?
The one of them contains my picture, Prince. If you choose that, then I am yours withal.
Some god direct my judgment. Let me see. I will survey the inscriptions back again. What says this leaden casket? Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. Must give for what? For lead? Hazard for lead? This casket threatens. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. And a golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. I'll then nor give nor hazard aught for lead. What says the silver with her virgin hue? Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves. Pause there, Morocco. And weigh thy value with an even hand. If thou beest rated by thy estimation, thou dost deserve enough, and yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady, and yet to be afeard of my deserving, or but a weak disabling of myself, as much as I deserve. Why, that's the lady. I do, in birth, deserve her, and in fortunes, in graces, and in qualities of breeding, but more than these, in love I do deserve. What if I strayed no farther, but chose here? Let's see once more this saying graved in gold. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. Why, that's the lady. All the world desires her. From the four corners of the earth they come to kiss this shrine, this mortal breathing saint. One of these three contains her heavenly picture. It's like that lead contains her. 'Twere damnation to think so base a thought. Or shall I think in silver she's immured? Being 10 times undervalued to tried gold. Ha ha, sinful thought. Here do I choose, and thrive I as I may.
If my form lie there, then I am yours.
Oh, hell. What have we here? A carrion death, within whose empty eye there is a written scroll. I'll read the writing. All that glisters is not gold. Often have you heard that told. Many a man his life hath sold, but my outside to behold. Gilded tombs do worms enfold. Had you been as wise as bold,
young in limbs, in judgment old, your answer had not been enscrolled, fare you well, your suit is cold. Cold indeed, and labour lost, then farewell, heat, and welcome frost. Portia, adieu, I have too grieved a heart to make a tedious leave, thus losers part.
A gentle riddance.
Why, man, I saw Bassanio under sail. With him is Graciano gone along, and in their ship I'm sure Lorenzo is not.
The villain Jew with outcries raised the Duke who went with him to search Bassanio's ship.
He comes too late. The ship is under sail. But there the Duke is given to understand that in a gondola were seen together Lorenzo and his amorous Jessica. Besides, Antonio certified the Duke they were not with Bassanio in his ship.
I never heard a passion so confused, so strange, outrageous, and so variable as the dog Jew did utter in the streets. Oh, my daughter. Oh, my ducat. Oh, my daughter. You fled with a Christian, yeah. Oh, my Christian ducat.
Why? All the boys in Venice follow him, crying his stones, his daughter, and his ducats.
Let good Antonio look he keep his day, or he shall pay for this.
Oh, Murray, well remembered. I reasoned with a Frenchman yesterday, who told me in the narrow seas that part the French and English they miscarried a vessel of our country, richly fraught. I thought upon Antonio when he told me, and wished in silence that it were not his.
You are best to tell Antonio what you hear, yet do not suddenly, for it may grieve him.
A kinder gentleman treads not the earth. I saw Bassanio and Antonio part, and Bassanio told him he would make some speed of his return. He answered, do not so. Slubber not business for my sake, Bassanio, but stay the very riping of the time. And for the Jew's bond which he hath of me, let it not enter in your mind of love. Be merry, and employ your chiefest thoughts to courtship and such fair ostents of love as shall conveniently become you there. And even there, his eye being big with tears, turning his face, he puts his hand behind him, and with affection wondrous sensible, he wrung Bassanio's hand, and so they parted.
I think he only loves the world for him. I prithee, let us go and find him out, and quicken his embraced heaviness with some delight or other.
Do we so?
Quick, quick! The Prince of Aragon hath taken his oath and comes to his election presently. Behold!
Hello!
There hang the
Hello, my dear. How are you? You enjoying your evening so far? Marvellous. Do carry on.
There hang the caskets, noble prince. If you choose that wherein I am contained, straight shall our nuptial rites be solemnized. But if thou fail, without more speech, my lord, you must be gone from hence immediately.
I am enjoined by oath to observe 3 things. First, never to unfold to anyone which casket 'twas I chose. Next, if I fail of the right casket, never in my life to woo a maid in way of marriage. Lastly, if I do fail in fortune of my choice, immediately to leave you and be gone.
To these injunctions everyone doth swear that comes to hazard for my worthless self.
And so have I addressed me. Fortune now to my heart's hope. Gold, silver, and base lead. Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. Well, you shall look fairer ere I give or hazard. What? No. What says the golden chest? Let me see. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. What many men desire. That many may be meant by the full multitude that choose by show. And as I will not jump with common spirits, and rank me with the barbarous multitude, so I then to thee, thou silver treasure house, tell me now what title thou dost bear. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves, and well said too. For who shall go about to cozen fortune and be honourable without the stamp of merit, let none presume to wear an undeserved dignity. Oh, that estates, degrees, and offices were not derived corruptly, and that clear honour were purchased by the merit of the wearer. But to my choice. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. I will assume desert and instantly unlock my fortunes here. What is here? A portrait? A portrait of a blinking idiot. Presenting me a schedule. I will read it. Yes. What is here? Very good. The fire 7 times tried this, 7 times tried, that judgment is, that did never choose amiss. Some there be that shadows kiss, such have but a shadow's bliss. There be fools alive, iwis, silvered o'er, and so was this. Take what wife you will to bed. I will ever be your head. So be gone, you are sped. So be gone, you are sped. Still more fool I shall appear by the time I linger here. Sweet, adieu. I'll keep my oath, patiently to bear my wrath.
Thus hath the candle singed the moth.
Madam, there is a lighted at your gate, a young Venetian, one that comes before to signify the approaching of his lord, from whom he bringeth sensible regreets and gifts of rich value. I have not yet seen so likely an ambassador of love. A day in April never came so sweet to show how costly summer was at hand as this forespurrer comes before his lord.
No more, I pray thee. I'm half afeard that wilt say anon he is some kin to thee. Thou spent such high day wit in praising him. Come, Nerissa, for I long to see quick Cupid's post that comes so mannerly.
Bassanio, Lord love, if thy will it be.
Now, what news on the Rialto?
Why, yet it lives there unchecked that Antonio hath a ship of rich lading wrecked on the narrow seas.
Well, the good Antonio, the honest Antonio, hath lost a ship.
I would it might prove the end of his losses.
Let me say amen betimes, lest the devil cross our prayer. But here he comes in the likeness of a Jew. How now, Shylock? What news among the merchants?
You knew, none so well as you, of my daughter's flight.
That's certain. I, for my part, knew the tailor that made the wings she flew withal.
And Shylock, for his own part, knew the bird was fledged, and then it is the complexion of them all to leave the dam.
She is damned for it.
That's certain, if the devil may be her judge.
My own flesh and blood to rebel.
Out upon it, old carrion rebels it at these years.
I say my daughter is my flesh and blood.
There is more difference between thy flesh and hers than between jet and ivory, more between your bloods than between red wine and Rhenish. But tell us, do you hear whether Antonio have had any loss at sea or no?
There I have another bad match. A bankrupt, a prodigal, who dare scarce show his head on the Rialto. A beggar that was used to come so smug upon the mart. Let him look to his bond. He was wont to call me usurer. Let him look to his bond. He was wont to lend money for a Christian courtesy. Let him look to his bond.
Why, I'm sure if he forfeit, thou wilt not take his flesh. What's that good for?
To bait fish withal. If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me and hindered me 500,000. Laughed at my losses mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what's the reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands? Organs? Senses? Affections? Passions? Fed with the same food? Hurt with the same weapons? Subject to the same diseases? Healed by the same means? Warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by a Christian example? Why? Revenge. The villainy you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction.
Gentlemen, my master Antonio is at his house and desires to speak with you both.
We have been up and down to seek him.
Here comes another of the tribe. A third cannot be matched unless the devil himself turned Jew.
How now, Tubal? What news from Genoa? Hast thou found my daughter?
I often came where I did hear of her, but cannot find her.
A diamond gone! Cost me 2,000 ducats in Frankfurt. The curse never fell upon our nation till now. I never felt it till now. 2,000 ducats in that, and other precious, precious jewels. I would my daughter were dead at my foot, and the jewels in her ear. Would she were hearsed at my foot, and the ducats in her coffin. The thief gone with so much, and so much to find the thief. And no satisfaction, and no revenge, nor no ill luck staring but what lights on my shoulders. No sighs but of my breathing, no tears but of my shedding.
Yes, other men have ill luck too, Antonio, as I heard in Genoa.
What? Ill luck, ill luck.
Hath an argosy cast away coming from Tripoli.
I thank God, I thank God. Is it true, is it true?
I spoke with some of the sailors that escaped the wreck.
I thank thee, good Tubal. Good news, heard it in Genoa.
Your daughter spent in Genoa, as I heard, one night, 80 ducats.
Thou stick'st a dagger in me. I shall never see my gold again. 80 ducats at a sitting? 80 ducats?
There came many of Antonio's creditors in my company to Venice that swear he cannot choose but break.
I'm very glad of it. I'll plague him. I'll torture him. I'm glad of it.
Now, one of them showed me a ring that he had of your daughter for a monkey.
Out upon her. Thou torturest me, Tubal. It was my turquoise. I had it of Leah when I was a bachelor. I would not have given it for a wilderness of monkeys.
But Antonio is certainly undone.
Nay, that's true. That's very true. Go, Tubal. Fee me an officer, bespeak him a fortnight before. I will have the heart of him if he forfeit. Go, Tubal. Meet me at our synagogue. Go, Tubal. At our synagogue, Tubal.
I pray you tarry. Pause a day or two before you hazard, for in choosing wrong I lose your company. Therefore forbear a while, so that something tells me, but it is not love. I would not lose you, and you know yourself hate counsels not in such a quality, but lest you should not understand me well, I would detain you here some month or two before you venture for me. I could teach you how to choose right, but then I am forsworn. so will I never be. So may you miss me, but if you do, you'll make me wish a sin that I had been forsworn. Beshrew your eyes! They have overlooked me and divided me. One half of me is yours, the other half yours. Mine own, I would say. But if mine, then yours, and so all yours. Oh, these naughty times. Put bars between the owners and their rights, and so though yours, not yours, prove it so, let fortune go to hell for it, not I. I speak too long, but 'tis to appease the time to eke it, and to draw it out in length, to stay you from election.
Let me choose, for as I am, I live upon the rack.
Upon the rack, Bassanio, then confess what treason there is mingled with your love.
And none but that ugly treason of mistrust, which makes me fear the enjoying of my love. It may as well be amity and life between snow and fire as treason and my love.
Aye, but I fear you speak upon the rack, where men enforced do speak anything.
Promise me life, and I'll confess the truth.
Well, then confess and live.
Confess and love had been the very sum of my confession. Oh, happy torment when my torturer doth teach me answers for deliverance. But let me to my fortune and the casket.
Away, then. I am locked in one of them. If you do love me, you will find me out. Nerissa and the rest, stand all aloof. Go, Hercules! Live thou, I live. With much, much more dismay I view the fight than thou that makest the fray. Let music sound while he doth make his choice. Tell me, where is fancy bred? In the heart or in the head? How begot, how nourished ed? 'Tis engendered in the eyes. With gazing fed and fancy dies. In the cradle where it lies. Let us soaring fancies knell, I'll begin. Ding, dong, bell.
It's the gold one.
So may the outward shows be least themselves. The world is still deceived with ornament. In law, what plea so tainted and corrupt, but being seasoned with a gracious voice, obscures the show of evil? In religion, what damned error, but some sober brow will bless it and approve it with a text hiding the grossness with fair ornament? Well, there is no vice so simple but assumes some mark of virtue on his outward parts. How many cowards, whose hearts are all as false as stairs of sand, wear yet upon their chins the beards of Hercules, or frowning Mars, who, inward searched, have livers white as milk. Thus, ornament is but the guiled shore to a most dangerous sea. In a word, the seeming truth which cunning times put on to entrap the wisest. Therefore, then, thou gaudy gold, hard food for Midas, I will none of thee, nor none of thee, thou pale and common drudge between man and man, but thou, thou meagre lead, which rather threatenst than dost promise aught, thy paleness moves me more than eloquence. And here choose I. Joy be the consequence.
How all the other passions fleet to air, as doubtful thoughts and rash embrace, despair and shuddering fear and green-eyed jealousy. Oh, love, be moderate. Allay thy ecstasy and measure rein thy joy scant. This excess I feel. Too much thy blessing, make it less. For fear I surfeit.
What find I here? Fair Portia's counterfeit! What demigod hath come so near creation? Move these eyes, or whether riding on the balls of mine seem they in motion. Yet, look how far the substance of my praise doth wrong this shadow in underprizing it. So far, this shadow doth limp behind the substance. Here's the continent and summary of my fortune. You that choose not by the view, chance as fair, and choose as true. Since this fortune falls to you, be content and seek no new. If you be well pleased with this, and hold your fortune for your bliss, turn you where your lady is, and claim her with a loving kiss. A gentle scroll. Fair lady, by your leave, I come by note to give and to receive. Like one of two contending in a prize, who thinks he hath done well in people's eyes, hearing applause and universal shout, giddy in spirit, still gazing in a doubt whether those peals of praise be his or no, so, thrice fair lady, stand I, even so, as doubtful whether what I see be true, until confirmed, signed, ratified by you.
You see me, Lord Bassanio, where I stand, such as I am. Though for myself alone I would not be ambitious in my wish to wish myself much better, yet for you I would be trebled 20 times myself, 1,000 times more fair, 10,000 times more rich, that only to stand high in your account I might in virtues, beauties, livings, friends exceed account. But the full sum of me is sum of nothing, which determined gross is an unlessoned girl, unschooled, unpractised, happy in this. She is not yet so old, but she may learn. Happier than this, she is not bred so dull, but she can learn. Happiest of all is that her gentle spirit commits itself to yours, to be directed as from her lord, her governor, her king. Myself and what is mine to you and yours is now converted. But now I was the lord of this fair mansion, master of my servants, queen o'er myself, and even now, but now this house, these servants, and this same myself are yours, my lord. I give them with this ring, which when you part from, lose, or give away, let it presage the ruin of your love, and be my vantage to exclaim on you.
Madam, you have bereft me of all words. Only my blood speaks to you now in my veins, and there is such confusion in my powers as after some oration, fairly spoke by a beloved prince, there doth appear among the buzzing, pleased multitude, where every something being blent together turns to a wild of nothing save of joy, expressed and not expressed. But when this ring parts from this finger, then parts life from hence. Or then be bold to say, Bassanio's dead.
My lord and lady, it is now our time that have stood by and seen our wishes prosper, to cry good joy, my lord and lady.
My lord Bassanio and my gentle lady, I wish you all the joy that you can wish, as I'm sure you can wish none from me. And when your honours mean to solemnise the bargain of your faith, I do beseech you, even at that time, I may be married too.
With all my heart, so thou canst get a wife.
I thank your lordship, you have got me one. My eyes, my lord, can look as swift as yours. You saw the mistress, I beheld the maid. Your fortune stood upon the caskets there, and so did mine too, as the matter falls, with oaths of love at last, if promise last, I got a promise from this fair one here to have her love, provided that your fortune achieved her mistress.
It is true, Nerissa.
Oh, madam, it is so. So you stand pleased withal.
And do you, Graciano, mean good faith?
Yes, faith, my lord.
Alfie shall be much honoured in your marriage.
We'll play with them, the first boy for 1,000 ducats.
What, and stake down?
Yeah, we shall now win at that sport and stake down. But who comes here? Lorenzo and his infidel. And my old Venetian friend, Salerio.
Oh! Salerio, welcome hither. If that the youth of minute interest here have power to bid you welcome, by your leave, I bid my very friends and countrymen, sweet Portia, welcome.
So do I, my lord. They are entirely welcome.
I thank your honour. And for my part, my lord, my purpose was not to have seen you here, but meeting with Salerio, by the way, who did entreat me, past all saying nay, to come with them along.
I did, my lord, and I had reason for it, Signor Antonio. Commends him to you.
I pray you, ere I ope this letter, tell me how my good friend doth.
Not sick, my lord, unless it be in mind, nor well, unless in mind. His letter there will show you his estate.
Nerissa, cheer yon stranger, bid her welcome. Your hand, Salerio. What news from Venice? How doth that royal merchant, good Antonio? Do I know he will be glad of our success? We are the Jasons! We have won the fleece!
You won the fleece that he has lost.
There are some shrewd contents in yon same paper that steals the colour from Bassanio's cheek. Some dear friend dead, else nothing in the world could turn so much the constitution of any constant man. What, worse and worse would leave Bassanio, I am half yourself, and I must really have the half of anything that this same paper brings you.
Oh, sweet Portia, here are a few of the unpleasantest words that ever blotted paper. Gentle lady, when I did first impart my love to you, I told you freely all the wealth I had ran in my veins. I was a gentleman. And then I told you true. And yet, dear lady, rating myself at nothing, you shall see how much I was a braggart. When I told you my state was nothing, I should then have told you that I was worse than nothing, for indeed, I have engaged myself to a dear friend, engaged my friend to his mere enemy to feed my means. Here is a letter, lady, the paper as the body of my friend, and every word in it a gaping wound, issuing lifeblood. But is it true, Salerio? Hath all his ventures failed? What, not one hit? Or from Tripoli? From Mexico and England? From Lisbon? Barbary and India?
Not one, my lord. Besides, it should appear that if he had the present money to discharge the Jew, he would not take it. 20 merchants, the Duke herself, the Magnificos of greatest port, have all persuaded with him, and none can drive him from the envious plea of forfeiture of justice and his bond.
I know, my lord, if law, authority, and power deny not, it will go hard with poor Antonio.
Is it your dear friend that is thus in trouble?
The dearest friend to me, the kindest man, the best conditioned and unwearied spirit in doing courtesies, and one in whom the ancient Roman honour more appears than any that draws breath in Italy.
What sum owes he the Jew?
For me, 3,000 ducats.
What, no more? Well, pay him 6,000 and deface the bond. Double 6,000 and then treble that before a friend of this description shall lose a hair through Bassanio's fault. First, go with me to church and call me wife, and then away to Venice to your friend. For never shall you lie by Portia's side with an unquiet soul. You shall have gold to pay the petty debt 20 times over. When it is paid, bring your true friend along. My maid Nerissa and myself meantime will live as maids and widows. Come, away. For you shall hence upon your wedding day. But let me hear the letter of your friend.
Sweet Bassanio, my ships have all miscarried, my creditors grow cruel, my estate is very low, my bond to the Jew is forfeit, and since in paying it, it is impossible I should live, all debts are clear between you and I, if I might see you at my death. Notwithstanding, use your pleasure. If your love do not persuade you to come, let not my letter.
Oh, love. Dispatch all business and be gone.
Since I have your good leave to go away, I will make haste. But, till I come again, no bed shall e'er be guilty of my stay. No rest be interposer twixt us twain.
So, with distressing news from Venice interrupting the nuptials, we start our 20-minute interval. But don't go far, we will be back with you in precisely 12 minutes with a film about this production's rather beautiful set. We'll see you soon.